welcome back to the podcast. This is your girl Vaughn, and this is She Talks Life podcast. And I am a little under the weather because it's that time of the year. And I know you didn't get an episode last week, not because I was under the weather. I actually felt under the weather like the end of last week, and so I was down. Your girl was out for a bit because who the weather changing and all this other crap was happening. So, yeah. On today's episode, I actually wanted to talk about spinning the block with an ex and the unfortunate events that happens for some people. And, that ain't the title, but we just gonna talk about it. Cause I kind of wanna put it out there is like, are we being realistic? Like when we think about the things that we're doing, are we being realistic? So when I say are we being realistic is I was just talking to my sister about it. So if you are not living under a rock and you over the weekend saw that Nelly and Ashanti was at some kind of a concert and she was she was singing her song, and they kind of announced or allegedly hinted to the fact that they were having a baby. And I guess on you know the social media and the blogs and everything, I think it was confirmed that they were having a baby. So let me put it out there because I think we are delulu. And when I say we, I'm talking about the black community. Oftentimes it has become like people put us as stereotypical, right? They put us in these stereotypes, and that's other people of color. But then when you really think about it, we fall into the stereotype. We don't try to negate from the stereotype. We don't even try to like be like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and be that, because we do it in corporate America. In corporate America, we try to not be the stereotype that they place on us, right? And so, but then in our own personal lives, we don't negate from the stereotype. We kind of fucking walk right into the stereotype. Why is it so hard for black women to and black men to actually understand what self-worth is? Because honestly speaking, I don't know why people are cheering. Yeah, a baby is a blessing and all that shit. But to be honest with you, like the whole schematics of it and looking in from the outside, like why are we cheering on the fact that, oh wow, Ashanti's announcing she's pregnant by her boyfriend that she was not with for 10 years? Because if the timeline serves me right, she dated him for 10, they broke up, he dated another woman for almost 8, 10 years, and then now they circling back to each other and they circle back pregnant. Not even, oh wow, Nelly and Ashanti circle back and they got married. Now I don't know if they did, you know, behind the scenes, and we don't know, but from how people announce things lets you know like where they head is at. Because in the video, Ashanti looked like she about 4 or 5 months pregnant. She has a little belly. And when you start showing, especially when it's your first kid, some people show later on in the pregnancy, like they don't show in that first trimester. Um, so yeah, she's been pregnant for a minute now. We've been seeing all over social media where they're out, like, buying cars and watches and jewelry and all this shit. And I'm like, I get it, that's the hip hop culture. I'm not negating or being negative towards the hip hop culture. The hip hop culture is where we tend to want to be flashy and, having the big fancy watches and the gold, the chains and the ice on the neck. That's the hip hop culture, right? But to be real life, like me talking about life and women out there in general that who look up to these people as celebrities, because trust me, there's a lot of people out there that are looking up to the celebrity lifestyle, and a part of them is fantasizing like if they had that kind of relationship or whatever. They don't know the backstory. They don't know nothing about these people, but they scream relationships goal. I was scrolling through Twitter because when I first saw it, it was like a glimpse of the video. And then I was like, oh, let me go on Twitter, X, whatever they call it now. And just type in trending, and it had Ashanti and Nelly trending. And some people were saying things like, oh, I like Nelly and Ashanti together. I don't care what nobody say. I'm happy for them. And I was like, hmm, why are we so brainwashed to think that this is normal? Like, why do we make this a normal thing in the black community? And then some people did write up under the post my sister sent me to look at, was someone said, "Oh, why didn't get married?" And the first thing that comes out of the the mouth of a black person is, "Are you married? Do you still be? Are you still with your baby daddy?" I need to tell you guys, like, be fucking realistic, right? You can't want something internally but then voice something externally, because a lot of black women want marriage, a lot, but the statistics are showing that a lot of black women are not getting married. You know why? Because they do shit like what Ashanti and Nelly do. They accept the bare fucking minimum. They don't want to um go and put boundaries, or set what their self-worth is. It's all about self-worth and knowing who you are. I used to be that person. I would accept the bullshit in my 20s. In my early 30s, I was accepting. I was in long-term relationships and realizing that I was seeking marriage. I was marriage ready in that time frame, but the people that I were dating was not in the same mindset as I was. And I kept saying to myself, you can't make somebody want to be with you, or you can't make somebody want to marry you because they're not ready for marriage, or you're not the person they want to marry or they see themselves marrying. You need to learn how to cut it off. So I got into the position where I was like, you know what? I will date, and I will date multiple people until I find the person that I want to be with and that is on the same wavelength as me. So I went out there and I started dating different people. I was dating multiple people at the same time, you know. And as I was dating them, I let them know, like, hey, I'm dating somebody else. You might be Monday, that person might be Tuesday, this person might be Wednesday. But the gist of it is that you're not number one and you're not the only one. Because what you're not going to do is play with my emotions, get me all hyped up, riled up, and then here you come 3 years later, and I'm still like, okay, where the fucking ring at? Where the relationship at? And this girl, I saw this thing on TikTok where this one girl said that she told her boyfriend that in 3 months she's going to be moving to another state for for a better job, and giving him time to prepare himself as to is he coming with her. And you know what he told her? He said, "Oh yeah, do what you got to do." Right there and then, when you opened that door and you said that to him, and he said, "Do what you got to do," let me tell you what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to take that 3 months, get your shit in order, pack your shit up, and when the time for your move come, move out the door and say sayonara, bitch. Because you know what? He told you do what you got to do, because that was his sign. He ain't going with you. You need to come back and ask him again. And so one of the girls who stitched the video said, do not let the ring become like a shut up ring. Like, don't let a man shut you up by giving you that ring, because in reality, he doesn't really want to be with you, but because you're asking him all the time and you're begging him to be with you or be in a relationship with you, he just gives you the ring to shut him up. Now, one of my coworkers from an old job years ago, she was dating this guy. And when I say dating, she was kicking it with her sneaky link. Her sneaky link, she known him since high school, and but they kind of liked each other but never did anything. You become adults and then it kind of happened. So the sneaky link told her that, she asked the sneaky link, like, why you and old girl not married yet? Y'all been together for over 11 years. And he said, oh, she told me she wanted a ring, so I gave her a ring. She didn't say she wanted marriage. So for 11 years, she was rocking a ring on her finger, but it ain't legal. She ain't got no paperwork. She ain't got nothing. And he just like being realistic. And a lot of times we think that we gotta, when a man tells you something, you feel like you gotta dissect it. Men ain't like women. As women, we're very emotional creatures. And so men are not like us. We will analyze, depict, rip it apart, put it together, and try to come out with the answer at the end, right? But when a man talks, he's just gonna blatantly tell you how he was. With me and my husband, when we was kicking it in the beginning, it wasn't nothing serious. It was just like, hey, we kicking it. We gonna see where this go. If you want to be exclusive, I'm gonna be exclusive. If you don't, it's cool with me, whatever. We started kicking it. He had something else going on, and he came and he told me like, hey, I'm gonna go over here and try to figure out what's going on with this situation. And I said, sure, do what you got to do. Because here's the thing that I am not going to do. I'm not going to hold you back from figuring it out. Because at some point in time, you do have to figure it out on your own. I can't walk with you through the process, which means I can't go out there and be like, oh, I'm gonna be over here wondering what you're doing with her and this and that. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna continue to go on and do what I gotta do with my life. When you decide to let me know, like, hey, are we still cool to still kick it or do whatever? If I feel like that's something I wanna do, then yeah, I'm definitely gonna be down with it because yeah, I saw something, but different avenues happened. But at the end of the day, one of the biggest issues that I find with black people, especially black women, the more and more I do research and the more my sociologist hat comes on, I start to see how our socio economic areas, like how it shapes us as people and our dynamics of our lives, because you have one girl who shows this really great relationship, and then 2 weeks later she shows up pregnant, but it's not with the same guy she was showing you a month ago or 2 months ago. And then the baby comes, and then ooh, now she's single. All throughout the pregnancy, she's showcasing this relationship, and then she has the baby, and he's probably there for like maybe the first month or so, and then after that, now she's single, and now she's talking about narcissistic behavior. I always say that you don't get to choose who you have kids with. I know we all think we do, but you don't. It's been ordained already, right? That guy is supposed to be your guy to have a baby with. That woman is the woman you're supposed to have a baby with. I think that's what it is. It's how you do the things after the kids come. That's where your integrity and your character and who you are as a person comes to light. Because if you want to be a parent, you're going to show up and be a parent. If you don't want to be a parent, then yeah, you're not going to show up to be a parent. Nelly and Ashanti situation is strange to me because you literally allowed him back into your life, but you didn't show marriage or something like different. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no different. Everything looks the same. Even like the Holly Bailey situation, right? She's still hiding the pregnancy. Like I said, I think we need to stop demonizing pregnancy, because the more we demonize it, the more things like this happen, right? Young girls are looking up to her, and then she's pregnant. She's not showing that. She's not acknowledging it. And I get it. Everybody's like, oh, she wants her privacy. Sweetie, pregnancy doesn't disappear. It shows up. You can't hide pregnancy for so long, right? Pregnancy just be like, hey, hello, I'm here today. Tomorrow, I'm like, whoop, we about to drop this baby. So I don't care how many angles you try to do, how many times the camera moves past you in a shoot, or your baby daddy trying to embarrass you and try to get the camera to actually catch you to show that you are pregnant, because he's trifling, because he is a trifling dude. because he's not respecting your boundaries. Because if I said I don't want to be on camera from neck down, and you're still trying to show me from neck down, you're not respecting my boundaries. I think a lot of women don't realize that boundaries don't have to be these big, huge things. Boundaries are small, little things that are put in place so that you can be comfortable in every aspect that you've placed those boundaries. So if she said, hey, I don't want to be seen from my neck down, respect that in the videos. Don't try to do it to embarrass her, because that's what I think you're like. You don't like how people love her so much, so you try to shame her, and that's a nigga. I'm sorry to say that. That's a nigga. Nelly, the same shit. He had you for all them years. Y'all got broken up. We don't know the backstory. Don't give a fuck about why you broke up, because everybody go through shit in relationship. But now he spin the block, and instead of spinning the block with a marriage and a proposal and all this other shit, he spin the block and got you knocked up. So that's your connection to Nelly. All these women talking about, oh yeah, Ashanti and Nelly, this is great, this is great. Now, also, I had no idea that Nelly was accused of sexual assault. And it was strange. So, in October 2017, he was arrested and charged with second degree rape after a then 22-year-old college student, we're not going to say her name, claimed he assaulted her on his tour bus ahead of Florida Georgia Line concert where he was set to perform. Rapper Nelly settles with woman over sexual assault lawsuit. My thing is, why is you out there performing essay on people and raping and all this bullshit? Um, what's up with her and Nicki Minaj? Is that how y'all pick them? Because Nicki Minaj's husband went to prison for sexual assault and pedophilia, not pedophilia, but underage. I remember, because if you guys don't live in the South, you need to look it up. But there are some states that there are some states where you can report sexual assault if the woman, the girl, is underage, even though she may have lied about her age to the man or the boy. And I know Georgia is one of them. I believe Tennessee is also one of them. So basically, saying is like, you're 15, you went with a boy that was 18, you guys had sex or whatever. Mom found out, the parents found out. They can legally press charges against him for sexual assault or um, having sex with a minor. A lot of guys in the South actually went to prison for that same issue. And I remember when I was living in Georgia, I saw it, when I used to look up the sex offender registry in my neighborhood, which I still do. I think y'all need to, because, we have kids in the neighborhood and that kind of stuff. My son was in school at the time. So I would, whatever neighborhood I moved into, I always looked up the sexual assault list to see who's nearby and what they went to prison for and all that stuff. And I saw a lot of sex offenders. That is like the highest one on the rating list is sex offenders. So I'd like to know if Nelly's on the sex offender list. I'm quite sure. I know Nicki Minaj's husband had to be on the sex offender list, and I think he got in trouble because he didn't report it at one time in California, and then he had all these issues with the court system. Like, dude, just go ahead and register as sex offender. She making the money, she can afford to pay for y'all lifestyle because she chose you to be her baby daddy and her husband. Nelly and Ashanti, I just want to say, congrats, Ashanti, on having her first child. But I think as women, do not feel like you have to let down your guard and put your self worth back because some guy doesn't want marriage, but he's only looking at you like you're only good to be a baby mama. Like, I know a lot of people think that it's bad, but it's not. Like, You need to know your worth. I don't want to be nobody's baby mama. And at 41 or 42, however Ashanti is, you're a baby mama. Your baby mama, because I think Nelly has two kids, and then he's raising his cousin or his sister's kids. Um, but then here you come now as a baby mama, and that's all I'm gonna look at you as. Like, you're Nelly's baby mama. They're not gonna look at you as like, oh, you're Nelly's wife after, you know, the we romanticize the relationship because we liked them originally when they got together. We were hurt when they broke up because I would say I really did like seeing Nelly and Ashanti together back in the day in the 90s because I'm a 90s girl. And so that relationship was really beautiful to see. You know, she was in a long term relationship. She wasn't out there just tugging it with any dude. But now, all these years later, and you didn't get a ring? You didn't ask for a ring first? And don't give me that bullshit about, oh, maybe she didn't want to get married. Honey, child, please. Because that's what we're trying to figure out with the with life, right? As a black woman, like, why are we not asking for marriage? Like, why are we not asking for commitment? Because it's not only the men. You know what I realized too? I realize a lot of times that what we do is we put this whole thing on the men, but let's spin it back on the women. How about, are you ready for marriage? Because we would always assume the guy isn't ready for marriage, but then you still got to think, are we women mentally ready for marriage? Because you know that's that line where it says, when that time comes, are you prepared? Are you truly prepared for that marriage? And I don't think all of us are. I don't believe that we all are. We all say we want marriage, but when the time comes and a man says, "Hey, I want to get married," then you hedging and hogging and doing this and doing that, and then you don't get married. Then there are those women who like the idea of marriage. So yeah, I'm gonna get the ring because that's all I want. Because here's the thing, I'm superficial because that's what it is. I need to show them people that, yeah, I got a ring. I'm not a baby. I'm not just a baby mother. Fuck that. If you out there and you put the ring on my finger, in a couple of months we gonna be planning a wedding. Best believe that shit. There's no need for me to wear a ring for 10 years or 11 years. We see stories out there when people put out how they waited for a ring for 12 years, 20 years, dated the same person, and he never married them. I even saw a girl posted up on Threads that said that the guy she was seeing literally married his baby mother. The guy that told her don't worry about his baby mother actually turned around and married his baby mother while he was still with her. That's trifling shit. And I think we can't only place the blame on the men, but we do have to place the blame on us because we accept the bullshit that they come with. Because one, a lot of us are afraid to be alone. I'm just gonna put it out there. We are afraid to be fucking alone. I've listened to so many of my clients talk about being scared of not having someone, and so they will put up with anything because they want to have someone, and that mindset is holding them back from so many other things. Because if you constantly allow the same mistakes to continuously happen, you're not learning from them, you're not looking at the lessons that it's teaching you, and you're just accepting it. You're just accepting it, willingly accepting this bad behavior from this guy. You can't move forward and you can't get more. It's funny because my sister just texted me and said, watch this video. And this one girl on TikTok, her name is Amani Talks, she actually is talking about Nelly and Ashanti. And she said, honestly, though, I hope I'm proven wrong and they live happily ever after. Like, you gotta realize people are looking at it, especially people with their screws tightened right, right? Because a lot of the younger generation that are seeing this, the bad behaviors that are happening, we're allowing it to become the norm. And the more we allow it to become the norm, the more we fall into the trap of accepting the shit that they putting out there. Because yes, we do need mentors. We do need people to look up to. We need aspirations and inspirations and all that good stuff. In my generation and when I was growing up in the 90s, we looked up to that, that ideal of what your relationship would look like, what you aspire to have. Now the world has changed, so things may have changed. There's a lot of women that are getting married. Some of them are getting married older. Some of them, like, I think if you really looked at the statistics, a lot of interracial marriages are happening more than black marriages, full blown black marriages. A lot of women are not waiting anymore for a black man. They're actually seeking out outside their race because they want that happily ever after. They want the kids, they want the marriage, they want that. So if they're seeking a black man and he's not giving them that but wasting their time, they're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna date outside my race and see what happens. I'm gonna flip the coin. That's what's basically being done. Like, I'm gonna flip the coin and see what it. I've dated outside my race for the time I was like 21. Um, I've never like discriminated or anything to that effect when it comes to love, because I feel like I'm a love who love me. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, no black man is checking for me. I'm just keeping it real. They ain't checking for me. When I was in my mid 20s, if a black dude like try to holler at me, it was all about how we gonna hook up and fuck. I don't want to fuck. I don't want to just have a body. I want somebody to talk to and be committed to, and somebody I could go out to dinner and travel and do all those types of things with. So I wasn't checking for them because they weren't checking for me either in the way that I wanted to be checked for. So I spent a lot of my 20s celibate. Like, my early 20s, I spent a lot of it celibate. And then I started dating. When I decided to start dating again, it was like, okay, you know what? Let's just try it differently. I was online early on in the dating scene. And, I wasn't waiting for it to come to my door. I went out there and seeked it. And most of the time, online dating, you're gonna find different races online dating. And so, if you are looking for marriage, this is what I will leave you with this episode. If you are looking for marriage and you are currently single, but you want to have that happily ever after, you still believe in romance, you still believe in love, and you still feel like you still have a chance out there, I suggest you go out there and live and change your mindset on who you date and start looking at the red flags. Like, they're there. You see them. You ignore them because he's black and he got swag, and you've got this mentality that the people on the other side don't have that. And so you rather be with the rude boy and the hood dude that's going to treat you like shit, but then you go home and cry into your pillow. So I'm just saying to you, go out there in 2024. Go out there in 2024 and actually fucking live. Like, go out and date Asian, date Indian, date Hispanic, date whatever. See what different types of dating styles, because here's what you will find as you continue to date differently. When you're dating different races, their romantic styles are different. And I don't blame black men, or I don't bash black men for their dating styles, because I find like dating styles have to be taught, right? You have to learn different styles of dating. Even if you do still decide to date within your race and that's what you're looking for, just date different styles of men so that you know the things that you want. Because in order for you to actually really know what you want, you have to actually date differently. you got to kiss a lot of frogs, and you got to kiss them in different areas, because at the end of the day, you might think, oh, I want him to open the doors for me. And the black guy might not want to do that. You might, like Steve Harvey had said in the book, you might be a trip, trip girl. He going trip, trip. And you just jump in. He can get out to open the door for you. Um, you know, the guy that's gonna bring you flowers, or you telling, like, the guy that pays attention to you and what you're mentioning, what you like about dating or being in a relationship, what you want and expect, that guy that gives you those things, that's the guy you might want to pay special attention to more, just to see, okay, now I'm dating this one over here. He's not really giving it to me, but then this one is really doing what he got to do. So I want to really see where that's going. Then when it's time for you to become monogamous, then you have that conversation. Do you want to do this thing called life together? And once you have that conversation, then you know what comes next. Sometimes you have to have a conversation, and then other times it just flows in naturally. The other ones that are not as interested as you think, they usually fall off the radar. The one that you're really interested in and that person's interested in, you're going to see that you're spending a lot more quality time with that person. You're talking to more on the phone, or you're meeting up, they're going out for dates, you're doing stuff. That's the one that you're probably going to spend a little bit more attention with, but you still got to watch out for red flags, because let me tell you something, the representative, they show up first. And then after a while, the representative be like, okay, dude, I got you through the door, but you gonna handle this on your own because I'm out. And when the real person show up, if there's a lot of changes, pack your shit and keep it moving, because that ain't it. That is not the guy you fell in love with, or the girl you fell in love with. Anywho, thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. Like I said, I've been sick. I'm trying to get over this cold, and I will try to record another episode soon so I can post it for Thursday. We try to do two a week. And yeah, so let's see what's next on the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, share it with a friend. And then, yeah, leave me a message. Let me know what you think of the podcast. Come find me on Threads, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.